lies the crown.
Welcome back to I Am Heavy Cash podcast. You already know it's your boy Don Heavy representing for the NY and the Shy. We're going to jump right into things like I like to do, because foreplay is only for you, boo-boo. You like that right there? You like how I touched that right there? But anyway, Don Heavy's on the mic. Check it out. Now, we're going to discuss today why impulsive behavior and spontaneous behavior is bad for investing. Now, this is not to the day traders that know what they are doing. This is not to the investors that know what they are doing. This is to the people that behave spontaneously in the stock market, that behave impulsively in the stock market. Now, before we jump into that, what defines spontaneous and impulsive behavior in the stock market? Don Heavy will teach you. Impulsive and spontaneous behavior in the stock market is going on a whim and moving whenever the wind blows. Whenever you hear some bad news, you're either buying or selling. Whenever you hear word of mouth news, you're either buying or selling. I mean, I don't mean to say bad news, because any type of news, you're either buying or selling. Anyone else can play in your decision to buy and sell and make you buy and sell at the drop of a dime. That is impulsive and spontaneous behavior. That makes the market fluctuate and extremely volatile, and it's bad for business. Why is it bad for investing? Number one, whenever you invest in something, it is for the long term. You don't invest for a short term. Investing is not short term business. You investing for the long term. So when you invest, like I said, now the day traders that know what they're doing, you guys know what you're doing. You're day trading. I'm not talking to you. Obviously, you have some type of strategy that you bring to the table, and you make money doing it. Hopefully, you make money doing it, or you make a lot of money doing it. And if the margins is right, then do what you got to do, boo. But if it's not, then you need to listen up. You need to pay attention to I Am Heavy Cash right now. You need to pay attention to what Don Heavy's dropping the heavy dimes on your mind right now. When you invest, it is for the long run. If anything can make you or break your discipline in investing, you need not to invest in it. You need to check yourself and invest time in yourself before you throw your money in anything. Because a lot of people, this is what a lot of people do. A lot of people, they lose a little bit of money in the stock market, and then they sell. They sell everything. And then they blame the market and say, oh, no, the stock market is only for rich people. It's only a rich man's game. First of all, whoa. Yeah, it can be played like a game. But don't get it twisted. There's people that play that invest in the stock market. There's people that invest in the stock market, and they just invest in businesses that they know well and that they like. And you know what? Bad news doesn't really push them to act in any other way than they really believe that they feel. For instance, if you held a position in Volkswagen was the number 2 car manufacturer in the world behind Toyota. If you had held a position in Volkswagen within the last 2 months, and it came across the wire that the emission scandal was bad news, of impulsive and spontaneous investor, also known as a flaky investor, they will sell everything. And then the real investors, they jump in and do whatever they do, whether it's buying, whether it's selling. But they do that however they believe in the business. And then the business will go back up, and a spontaneous investor is like, oh, wait, no, I made a wrong decision. And they'll start buying. And then they'll get the news that 800,000 more cars were affected by the emission scandal. Then what? They sell again. And it's just like, wait, hold on, bro. Make up your mind. Or sis, make up your mind. What do you want to do? You want to be an investor, or you want to play a game? First of all, impulsive decisions and spontaneous decisions. I mean, you know, Don Heavy, just to give you a little bit of insight on Don Heavy. Don Heavy is a Scorpio. And Scorpios like to live on the edge and have fun. So Don Heavy's very spontaneous. But when you're spontaneous and impulsive in any aspect of life, is not always good, because you got to think things through. You have to think things through and make well thought, thorough, educated decisions. When you make educated decisions, you get results. What's another word for results? Earnings. Yes, people, we want to do it for the earnings. We want to do it for the dividends. We want to do it for the heavy cash. I don't know how many times I got to tell you. We want to do it for the earnings. We want to do it for the dividends. We want to do it for the returns. We want to do it for the heavy cash. You're not getting heavy cash if you're moving real light. If you're moving real light and you're not sticking your foot in the ground and you're not lugging your weight around, if you're moving real light like that, then you're going to get light results. You're going to get light earnings. But if you're moving heavy if you stomping when you move, if the earth is crying every time you take a step, then you making heavy cash. And that's what it's all about. You don't need to be in and out, in and out, in and out. That's why I don't know how you do it. First of all, you in and out, you in and out. You're paying extreme amounts of taxes. If you have any capital appreciation, if you stayed that long to see any capital appreciation, you're paying tax on that. And if you didn't stay long enough to see capital appreciation, you probably didn't even see any dividends either. So therefore, it's still not equaling up to heavy cash. So then what are you doing? What is your reason for being so impulsive and so spontaneous? You know, I read a book by a fellow named Benjamin Graham. Now, I don't know if a lot of you investors have read that book, but I do know if you haven't read that book, you need to invest some time and invest some money. Get that book. It's like the investor's textbook. It's like the investor's life textbook because it teaches about investing. It teaches you about life. It teaches you about life in terms of homework, doing your homework, and having discipline. Having discipline, expecting the valleys and peaks, and having discipline and knowing when you make a decision, your decision is right no matter who else says what. First of all, these Wall Street analysts, most of them are not billionaires. Therefore, I don't really care how well you know this stock is going to do or how poor you think this stock is going to perform. Because if you are not one of the best investors to ever do it, Don Heavy really doesn't care what you have to say. Don Heavy really could care less what you have to say because you're not one of the best to ever do it. How are you going to tell me this stock is a buy right now, this stock is a sell right now, unless you buying and selling in there, and I'm seeing the results by seeing your name right next to Warren Buffett's, who was the best pupil that Benjamin Graham ever had. I will add that. If you're not next to him or Bill Gates, because Bill Gates is another one that performs very well in investing, or Carlos Slim, someone that saw an opportunity in the industry and made his billions like that. If you're not one of these guys or not learning from one of these guys, then what are you doing? Your actions is just detrimental to yourself and to your finances. And if your actions don't equal up to I Am Heavy Cash, then you're messing up. And if you're not listening to Don Heavy, then you're really messing up. Because you need to listen to the Don when the Don speaks. The Don is only dropping the heavy dimes for your mind. I'm dishing you the rock, catch the ball, play the ball, score the points. That's it. Score the points. What's the points? The points are returns. What's the points? The points are the earnings in your portfolio. What's the points? The points are the dividends. What's the points? The points is the heavy cash. That's what the points are. The heavy cash, people. If you're not first, you're last. If you're not first, you're last. And if you're last, that means you didn't get heavy cash. Get it together, people. Stop making excuses. Just make money. Stop making excuses, just make money. Stop being so spontaneous. Hold the position for a while. See some dividends. See some real earnings. Read an annual report. Stop playing around with the money. And the money stop playing with you. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to another I Am Heavy Cash with your boy Don Heavy. Follow me on Twitter, DonHeavy_invest. And you can catch up on your financial knowledge and your stock market know-how with the Black Market Watch on the YouTube channel, also named Don Heavy. And if you want to know what your idols are doing in whatever industry that they're in, if you want to know what they're doing financially, whether they're behaving responsibly or irresponsibly financially, then tune in to Money Talks, which is also on the Don Heavy YouTube channel. You already know. Signing out. Peace and love.
This program is brought to you by Her Pretty Ghost and Better New Business. Thank you for tuning in.